Hi, and welcome to Dog Fostering 101. I'm Jackie Adams, foster mom and learning and development professional. This podcast is for anyone who's new to fostering, thinking about saying yes for the first time, or navigating those early days and looking for practical tips, because fostering changes lives at both ends of the leash. Hi everyone, welcome back to Foster Fast Tracks, the series where we take one core idea in fostering and break it down in under 10 minutes. Today's episode is inspired by the thought leadership of Kristen Hassen and the work she shares through Outcomes for Pets, which has helped reshape how the entire nation thinks about animal sheltering. One of her biggest contributions is this simple but transformative idea: fostering is the system. Shelters are the safety net, not the center. So let's go ahead and unpack what that means and why you, as a fosterer, are now one of the most important pieces of the life-saving puzzle. For years, shelters were the default place where every dog who needed help went. Lost dogs, surrendered dogs, behavior cases, everything funneled into one building. But research, data, and national outcomes all point to something very different. Most dogs don't need a shelter, they need a person. Community-based care recognizes that a kennel is not where most animals thrive. And even a short stay in a home, a night, a weekend, a week, can dramatically improve their chances of success. When you step up as a foster, even for just a few days, you're providing something no shelter structure can give: lower stress and cortisol levels, more natural behaviors, better sleep, better eating, better coping, meaningful connection, and realistic information for adopters. Homes are healing environments. Kennels are survival environments. That's why fostering sits at the center of modern sheltering. In this new framework where shelters serve as a safety net, the shelters still matter and very deeply, but its role is changing. Shelters become crisis responders, medical support hubs, safety nets for animals with no alternatives, and intake points for animals in urgent need. But they are not where most animals should live, de-stress, or be evaluated. Kristen often describes shelters as temporary stabilizers. The real caretaking happens in the community, in people's homes, guest rooms, offices, backyards, shared bathroom spaces, anywhere a dog can just exhale. When fosters take dogs out of the shelter, they make room for emergency cases, cruelty cases, severe medical cases, and dogs who genuinely do need a structured environment. You are literally expanding the capacity of the entire system when you foster a dog. One of the Outcomes for Pets' most influential messages is that short-term fostering is a powerful, life-changing tool. A dog does not need a long-term placement to benefit from fostering. Some of the biggest positive changes happen in those first 24 to 72 hours outside the shelter. Short-term fostering helps shelters reduce kennel stress, uncover real behavior, prevent illness, increase adaptability, get better photos and videos, write more accurate bios, and match dogs more effectively with their forever family. Even a weekend sleepover can move a dog from unknown to adoptable. That's why fosters are no longer just helpers. You are part of the behavior team. You are the marketing team. You are the data collector. You are the emotional support system. You're providing insights that shelters simply cannot get inside the building. Fosters serve as a frontline decision makers. This is another big shift that Outcomes for Pets champions. Fosters aren't just volunteers, they're sometimes decision makers. You're the one that sees the dog relaxing, napping, playing in the living room, interacting with kids or perhaps other pets, decompressing and experiencing the world in a new way. That information you provide is better, clearer, and more realistic than anything a kennel-based evaluation can offer. You're not an accessory to the process. You are the process. The system cannot function without you. Those life-changing possibilities belong to ordinary people. One of the most beautiful parts of Kristen's philosophy is a reminder that life-saving is not exclusive or specialized. You do not need a degree, a giant house, a dog behavior training background, or a perfect schedule. The dogs who need help simply need a person, someone willing to give them a safe, calm place to land. Outcomes for Pets centers the idea that ordinary people can create extraordinary outcomes. That's why fostering is accessible, scalable, and transformative. So when we say fostering is the system, we're talking about a full reimagining of sheltering. Dogs thriving in homes, not in kennels. Fosters provide real behavior insight. Short-term care creates long-term impact. We see the dogs thriving in these environments, and shelters step in when there is nowhere else for a dog to go. It's a shift from control to care, from centralized to community powered, and from building to relationships and you. Yes, you are part of that evolution. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for choosing compassion, one foster pup at a time, and a heartfelt thank you to Kristen Hassen and Outcomes for Pets for their visionary leadership, their data-driven approach to modern sheltering, and their unwavering belief that ordinary community members like you and I are part of this process. I'll include their website in the show notes. And if you'd like to, you should tune in for the full guest interview with Kristen Hassen coming up this Thursday, where we dive deeper into the nationwide statistics about fostering and shelter systems. Thank you so much for joining us for this Foster Fast Track episode. Now go cuddle a pup and have a great day. Thanks so much for joining us for this episode of Dog Fostering 101, everything I wish I knew when I began fostering. This episode was edited by Make Your Day Richer. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to follow us and check us out on Facebook and Instagram. Now go cuddle a pup and have a great day.